Hey, middle-aged gamers, welcome back. Today we are just the original duo. Antoine is having fun in Las Vegas, and he will be with us next week. Next week we are at a new time, and I'm very glad Adam and Antoine agreed to this because my original only class I teach these days is moving to a Friday to help out my friend and what they're doing. So we will be we'll be streaming on a Friday. So Friday morning, our time, Adam and my time, and Thursday evening, Antoine's time. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you set your calendars or write a reminder in your Google Calendar, whatever you want to do. Today we have 4 stories. We're sort of narrowing it down a little bit, but we still have the Instagram shorts. You're going to stay tuned for those questions. And I think we'll definitely have to start off with this story, Adam. Wukong is everywhere in the media. Tell us why. Sure. It was. I mean, it was wonderful, right? Because it released in the morning Taiwanese time, so we actually for once, right? Like not like it doesn't happen, but rarely do we get to play games at a normal time, right? So 10 a.m. Tuesday, August 20th, I had already preloaded the game. It was a massive 120 gigabytes, was almost the same size as Fallout 76. Well, yeah, a little bit larger. And I loaded it up and it ran, and like the very first thing in the game was a boss fight. And again, if you, I never read, I think Adam did you read the story? Okay, so he's the same as me. So like I've seen, like there was a TV show probably in the late 2000s when Adam and I were living here. I remember that on TV and I remember watching it and I'm like, this is weird. And then Googling stuff and checking it out. I'm like, okay, I understand. Um, so anyway, in the very first like 5 minutes, you do a boss fight. And not like it was that difficult, but it was still at a point where like, oh my God, I could potentially die in this boss fight. I'm like, I should have taken that as a hint. And then you finish it off, and then there's a story, and I will say it's, there was this big thing like when we watched the Wukong trailer, and I saw this comment online a few times, was like, hey, oh my God, our first Unreal 5 engine game, and you load it in, and I'm like, it looks good, but honestly, if you watch my other video about it, like I honestly think this doesn't look any better than Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC anyway. So, I mean, yeah, it almost looks the same. I can kind of see the differences when it comes to volumetric effects and shaders and lighting and that sort of stuff, but it's very minor. Overall, looking at the game, it's not as impressive as I thought it would be. But it runs fine. The combat was fun, but as I was telling Adam, and as I was expected to cover this for the channel, right, and make videos and stuff like I did for Kunitsigami, but it was just way too hard. Like I even read comments online, like people were stuck on that third boss that I was stuck on because he just has this weird attack that's kind of hard to figure out. But then Adam, like also we talked a lot about this past few days, and he was telling me that like later on in the game you get to a point where actually you're just so powerful, and then it just becomes easy, which is wonderful. But like no, can't do it. I'm sure lots of people will enjoy this game. Good on you, but for me, this was a wonderful. How much did I pay? $40 to make me figure out that this kind of game is not for me. Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Sekiro, all of this. No, I will never play anything like this. At least I was talking to somebody on our Threads account. You can check us out on threads.com/middleagegaming. But with roguelike games, right, you get powerful, right? You get more money to buy cards if it's a card game, or you get new abilities and stuff. But like in these sorts of games, you die and you just, okay, I'm the same me. And you have to try again. Nothing's making the game easier for you. I'm like, what the hell? So all that being said, it's a really cool game. If you like this kind of game, you'll enjoy it. If you're like me and you always wanted to, like, you see this media about Elden Ring, Dark Souls, like, okay, I've got to try this. Don't waste your $40, or like it's different prices. We have a lower price here in Taiwan, but whatever the price is, don't waste your money. Just go ahead and play what you usually play. Nothing that I saw. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as you described, like that must have taken a lot to program, like to put that in. I mean, impressive. I love what was that like Nintendo has this system with a lot of their first party titles where like if you're struggling with a level or a particular thing, they'll just slowly reduce the difficulty of this thing, like giving you more time to make a jump or more time to fight this boss or time to dodge or make the damage less or the boss slower and sort of like I think more games need this kind of mechanism. And I know there's a big argument for this, not anymore, but like people argue for a long time, like Elden Ring needs a difficulty setting or blah blah needs a difficulty setting, and I agree with that. And that's I would love to play these games, but I'd love like a difficulty setting. Like Adam mentioned, story mode for the Jedi games, which I didn't know about. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I know Ubisoft has that for the Assassin's Creed games, but those are not too difficult anyway. Um, but no, I like that idea. I mean, similar to any game with our backlog, right? There's so many new games coming out all the time. Uh, like just looking at the next few months, right? Like now, as well, like as I'm sort of thinking more about middle age gaming, right, and planning what I'm going to play, what I'm going to cover for the channel. I'm just looking at like, oh my god, I want to play this, 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 and it's just like if there's a game, and this is sort of what I was talking to Adam about yesterday, like is someone who buys a game like Black Myth Wukong, right? And maybe they're in their 20s or they're a teenager or they're working part time in Texas where minimum wage is still $7.25, which is terrible. Um, Spending $60 on a game is a lot of money and you want the biggest bang for your buck. But for us, we're not rich by any means, but you know, buying one, two, three, 4 games a month is fine, right? Like it's not going to break the bank. So if we do buy something, like I bought Black Myth Wukong, and I'm like, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours done. I'm not painful about it. I'm like, okay, good. At least I know, and then I can still buy another game. Like I pre-ordered Zelda for the end of September, and if I finish Coral Island, which is very unlikely, I might get. I'm not. I might. I will get Ara History Untold, which is something I'll talk about later. But no, no. I think that I think developers probably already know this. Like, if you're a 40-year-old gamer like Adam and I, there is no reason to go back to a game unless you're a completionist, like Adam is sometimes. So yeah, for me, no. If I bounce off a game, I'll never go back. Honestly, like I have a list of games in my Steam list, which is too hard. Thinking that someday I might feel like I can figure it out and go back, but actually, I've come to the realization those too hard games will just stay there forever. So, are you going to get this with PS5 when it comes out? Have you made up your mind? Helldivers. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Like anything I add to my thing list of things to play is either number one, it's going to be something I play with my brothers. It's going to be something I play with Hans, or number three, it's going to be something I play for middle age gaming, right? And that's it, right? Like, and there's so many games coming out that like I can always find something to play for us that keeps me happy, and I can start continue to try and put out those quality videos for us once a week, right? And improve my video editing skills so Adam is not the solo video editor for us. All right. Well, I'm slowly enjoying this as well, like the quality stuff, and my coworker at work is teaching me about color grading videos, which I'm slowly sort of starting to understand. So it's fun. I mean, I would agree with you. Like, I'd love to be like if we started like a video agency, I'd be the starter video guy and you'd be the expert video guy, and that's how we'd make videos together. We did. It is okay since there are only 4 stories. All right. So, gamers, I know lots of you, and I've talked about this topic. I forgot what is that Latin phrase that means never ending. I can't think of it right now, but I want to talk about handhelds today because a lot of you are looking for that wonderful graphic that I didn't really understand until like a few months ago, like ranking something. So today I'm going to rank gaming handhelds for you. Before I do that, I want to talk about my criteria because there's going to be a lot of stuff missing there. Like, I asked Adam about the PS Vita, and before I realized, like, yeah, of course, no, PS Vita is while you can still buy it secondhand, you can't really buy a PS Vita new, right, Adam? Got it. So I mean, this is the way I looked at it. I'm like, I want to rank things, you know, and maybe this list is smaller. So if you guys are interested, I'm sorry about that. So if you guys are interested, I can definitely do something more comprehensive. We can include the Vita, we can include the DS XL, we can include a lot of stuff that I didn't include. So what I did was I wanted to talk about what's available at the moment, what's popular, what are people sort of struggling over, like I've been struggling over for the last few months, right? So what you're not gonna see in those, you're not gonna see the Switch 2, because the Switch 2 is still no real confirmed date, but it is April 2025. Guaranteed next year unless something happens, right? All right. My nose is killing me, so I'm gonna stop. And I had a headache all of yesterday. All right, let me rewind a little bit since this is supposed to be a video. So what's not going to be on this list is the Switch 2 because it is coming out next year and we don't have a firm release date for that. There's also a few handhelds that are going to come out towards the end of this year. There's one in Brazil that's pretty nice. There's another one by Zotac. Zotac is a famous Taiwanese GPU company. Their handheld is coming out in the next few months. You're not going to see that on this list. The Aya series, or Aya Neo 2, that's a Chinese company that makes handhelds. There's XPDs and the GPDs, again, another Chinese company that makes these sort of like old style BlackBerry handheld devices that you can actually play games on. Again, because these are very, very niche devices, lots of people don't have access to it. Lots of people wouldn't even feel comfortable buying it. So what I decided to rank was the most popular solutions accessible to the most people. So I'm starting from the very bottom. On the bottom is going to be the MSI Claw. And I went to Costco yesterday in Taiwan. It was 18,000 Taiwan dollars, or 600 USD. And there's a very good reason for that is because if you look at most reviews for this device, it is pretty bad. It is running the Intel chipset. And if you've seen Intel stories lately, you know Intel is not having a fantastic year. With regards to their CPUs, the performance is horrible. There's another issue, again, related to software, which I'll talk about a bit later. So this is the last thing you want to buy just because it barely runs games at 30 frames per second. And, you know, MSI probably did what a lot of companies do. Were like, okay, we messed up, so we're going to offload our MSI clause to Costco or Walmart or whatever your big box retailer is, right? So skip that. The next thing on the list is going to be the Lenovo Legion Go. So the Lenovo Legion Go is definitely a step up. The performance is better. But again, what happens, a common thread that I'm going to talk about in today's ranking is the software. So software is a big issue, right? Because when you come home from work or you have a limited amount of time or, you know, people want that experience of like what Adam has. So Adam turns on his PS5 and he plays a game. He doesn't have to play around with frames per setting, with frames per second, or doesn't have to play around with you know, FXAA or anti-trust. I can't pronounce some of these words, but he doesn't have to play with a lot of the settings that PC gamers have to play around with sometimes, right? And for better or for worse, I know people can argue about that. Like sometimes, you know, playing around with it and making a game look the best possible way is good, but honestly, like, I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to play my game. And that is the trend that has sort of taken over the handheld market. That's why handhelds are so popular. That's why there are channels dedicated to the Steam Deck, dedicated to the Lenovo Legion Go, because people love this handheld experience. I've been on the PC now for about 1.5 months, 2 months, since I stopped from playing the Switch. And honestly, I miss the Switch so much. I can't wait for Zelda to come. That can be just Switch gaming Monday to Friday. So the Lenovo Legion Go, the upside to this handheld is the sound is really good. That's what a lot of people have agreed on. It is like, if you're somebody who's interested in sound, this is also a better version of a tablet. Like it's kind of like a gaming tablet in a sense. That's what people also talk about. And when I woke up this morning, one of the first stories I saw was Lenovo released some accessories for this. They released like a dock for the handhelds that go on the Lenovo Legion Go. They released a dock for it. They released a bunch of different things. So Lenovo's definitely in the long game when it comes to this. I'll be surprised if MSI is making another claw in another 3 years or 4 years, unless they do something really different. But again, not as good as the next handhelds we're going to talk about. Now going to the A tier. So the A tier, we're going to have the Steam Deck OLED and the ROG Ally X. So these are both in the A tier for different reasons. The Steam Deck OLED is just because it has the most superior software. Everyone agrees when it comes to this. When you launch a game on Steam Deck, it's in 30 seconds. That's the number I was just like, there's no playing around your settings. It's just a game works. It's able to Linux, it's so extra fast. There are downsides to this. Stack that said differently, so again, it's just like a Switch, almost the original Switch. But it runs basically in a country that it's easy to make many developers or games that are not officially supported by the Steam Deck, but you'll find someone who made a controller scheme, someone who made a way for you to put the game on your Steam Deck, like Dragon Age Origins. Is a game that I wanted to play, and I was like, okay, that was a decision for me to consider a Steam Deck or not. And yeah, there's a way for you to get onto your Steam Deck. So the ROG Ally X is on here just because of its sheer power. It is the most performant PC handheld that you can get, right? Plugging into the wall, you getting 1080p, 60 frames per second on a lot of games, right? Which is fantastic in a handheld format. That being said, the Switch 2 is supposed to deliver this next year. So that's something to consider. The ROG has come a long way in terms of its software. It doesn't use the Windows sort of game launcher like the Lenovo Legion Go does. It uses Armoury Crate, which is, if you have an Asus PC, you're probably familiar with that. So Armoury Crate is still not as good as what Steam has. And the S tier, and again, I'm biased kind of, but I think this is just the logical choice, is the Nintendo Switch, the original device. Just because software is flawless. I've had 3 crashes for the Nintendo Switch in 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. A long time. It's been a long time. it runs flawlessly. I've never had a game, no, that's not true. I've had 1 or 2 games that are like supremely unoptimized for the Switch, but it's just overall, it's an easy experience. If you're here in Taiwan, right, you want to join the US store, you can buy a game if you want to buy physical games, and I can lend my game to Adam if he ever gets the Switch and he can pop it in, right? There's no restrictions about that. So it's just an overall better ecosystem. There's so many games, and it's so easy for developers to make a PC game and then port it to the Switch, and make it for the Switch and then port it to the PC. So you get a lot of the games that you would get on the PC, you get it on the Switch. It's usable, it's fun, it's accessible, it runs like, and just the form factor itself, it runs nicely. Like I remember having a Wii, and I'm like, okay, this is cool for playing with people. But this is just like a good device that you're able to take around with you. That's not very heavy compared to like the Steam Deck or the Asus ROG Ally, which are big, heavier devices, of course, because they're newer chipsets. It's definitely the better choice for kids, for adults who are not looking to play these graphically intensive games. If you are looking for that, Asus ROG Ally is the way to go, or potentially wait for a Switch 2. But yeah, those are the handhelds, and I've ranked them. And again, this is just my opinion. You might rank things differently. You can let me know what you think. And that's it. Comment down below, right? Do you want me to make a longer ranking graphic? I can do that. Otherwise, stay tuned for a video coming next week. Functionality, I did not take price into consideration. If it was price, yeah, no, the Switch would still be it would probably be the same, because while price, I mean, yeah, I had to rank it by price, then yeah, maybe I drop the ROG Ally down to a C, down to a B from a C, from an A, yeah. Because it is the most expensive, yeah. I mean, there's like your Switch is about, a Switch OLEDs are like 600 US. Your Steam Deck is no. The Steam Deck is about the same price. The Taiwanese price is about 600 for the middle of the range. The Steam Deck OLED. The ROG Ally is 800. The Lenovo Legion Go is 700 to 750. So yeah, I mean, with the ROG Ally being the top, right? Like there's a significant loss if you're going with a Steam Deck OLED, if you're going with a Switch, right? You're not going to get that performance. Yeah, I mean, like honestly speaking, for 1080p handheld gaming, there is only one choice, right? That's well reviewed, that's well liked, that's supported by the company, is the ROG Ally. If you're looking for, most supported games, right? And by community and just ease of playing a game, it is the Steam Deck OLED for PC. And if you're just looking for overall, probably the best solution is the Switch. I saw the PS5 Slim in Costco yesterday for 19,800. Is that expensive? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was 𝙂𝙢𝙢𝙧𝙩, like 19,000, almost 20,000. I was like, oh, okay. I remember you talked about the PS5 Slim, and I thought it was supposed to be cheaper. Ooh, what I realized, this might be a bundle. Like Costco always does those bundles. So it might come with like controllers and games and stuff, which is why it's 20K. But I was like, oh, yeah, exactly. But tell us about this game that I've never heard about, but the title seems awfully familiar. literally send, all my happy words, bubbly, happy. I mean, this sounds awesome. How familiar are you with this sort of game series? And it's cool name. Nice. On that note, I'm going to run up today with my last game, which is 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙥𝙦 Untold, which is a turn-based civilization-like game that literally came out from nowhere because I had never heard of this. The last game, which was trying to compete in sort of this area was Humankind, and Humankind was also something that sort of came out from nowhere. No one realized that, hey, another company is trying to compete with Firaxis and 2K and Civilization series. And I played Humankind and I liked it. It was fun. I was doing some research on my Steam sort of history and I saw Humankind down there. And I sort of regret not finishing it or not playing it more. Civilization 6 is probably one of those as well. But this is a game done by Xbox Game Studios. It's made by Oxide Games, who ring a bell, but I don't quite remember who they are. It's very similar to Civ and Humankind. Like, you look at the game, like, yep, this is just another Civilization clone. But there's one big thing that sort of sets us apart, is that it's simultaneous turns. And this was the thing, was like, that's interesting. And this is why one of the lead devs, they were at Gamescom last week, and he was like, that's why when you play Civ, you can play with up to 31 other civilizations on the same map. Because it's not you play and then you're waiting for all the other turns to process, right? It's when you click end turn, everybody's turn ends at the same time, and then it starts the next round. So on the actual Steam page, they say, like, this leads to sort of new systems and new consequences, right? It's not a big chain of events. It's everything happens, and then you have to be like, okay. So you have to sort of think, like, and predict, like, what is this computer AI going to be? What is this person going to do? And if we're all playing at the same time, what is the end result of these people, right? Like it's a big, like, 4D sort of chess sort of game. Maybe not even 4D, maybe like 7D if you're playing with 7 people, because it is simultaneous. So that is the big differentiator when it comes to this game. And beyond that, it's a combination of Civ and Humankind. If you watch last week's video, Antoine talks about Civ 7. It's doing a lot of the things that Civ 7 are doing, but of course Civ has its own unique things. One of the cool things I like as well is it starts when at Gamescom they showed like 13 like leaders or heroes, whatever you want to call them. When the game launches, it's going to have like 33 individual leaders you can choose, which is pretty awesome. More choices, more ways to play the game. And it has, again, a lot of the same things, right? You can win by diplomacy, you can win by war. It looks very, very, very pretty. It's a living world, so you're going to see lots of details that you might expect to see from like Civ 7 or Humankind 2, whenever that comes out. Is like when you zoom in, you get to see like wolves running around and hunting animals, and you get to see dust storms rolling across the plains, and what are those things you see in Western movies like that look like branches together? What is that called? Tumbleweeds, yes. Oh God, I can't remember what that is called. Yeah, but you see all these sort of like little details on the map. It looks very, very impressive to me, right? And again, what's really going to set this apart to me is like the music. I love like the atmospheric music in Civ. I love like the quotes, right? When you do research something, it says blah 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 blah. Those are really cool. And I've struggled with military victories, so combat is going to be really important for me when it comes to this, because I don't know, maybe I've just become, not maybe, I've become more stupider as I've gotten older when it comes to this kind of game. So I'm hoping combat won't be like Civ 6, because I struggled. I had a military victory for all Civs except Civ 6. So I really, really want to play this, but I don't think I'm going to finish Coral Island in time. What might happen is I might stop Coral Island when this comes out, but this also comes out very similar to the Legend of Zelda time, so that also might not make sense, because I just got my little recording device for Legend of Zelda, which came back from the store, the Taiwanese manufacturer, so I don't know if I'll ever get to play this, but at some point I hope I will. But if you're looking for a grand strategy turn-based game similar to Civilization, and you don't want to wait for 2025, and you don't want to replay Civ 6 or Humankind, this is the thing for you to get. I think a lot of people will be playing this, given as Antoine did his Civ 7 video, I realized there are a lot of dedicated Civilization YouTube channels out there. I imagine this will be on Twitch as well, probably not as popular as, Wukong or Counter-Strike, but this is going to be there. So if you're a content creator or you're someone who's into this, this is definitely something for you to consider. No, see, so this is you're the same as me, same as military. Like, only victories I've ever got are military. I've never been able to do the others. Yeah. Typical Civ roads, right? Yes. I did watch a video at Gamescom, and then their big focus was showcasing the three ages, which is again similar to what Civ 7 is going to do, showing the leaders, showing the combat. They touched a little bit of everything. They did show like the building screen, but the guy's focus was like, hey, you can use gold to buy this. And I'm like, yeah, that's the same as Civ 7. And it was a very funny video because the guy purposely tried to not compare the game to Civ 7 all the time. Like, he always said other games in this genre all the time. And he repeated the same thing over. Like, everyone knew when you're watching the video, like, you're talking about Civilization just to say it. But I'm like, oh, now that I work for a company, I understand, like, PR speak and stuff. I'm like, oh, of course, you don't want people to connect this with Civ 7. You want it to be its own thing. So it was interesting. I wish the best for them, because this genre needs more competition. All right, sir, are you ready to answer questions? I need to find the questions. Found them. Okay. I mean, you do your favorites and then second favorite. Yeah. Before you start, at the end of the video, include some time for you to like do a CTA call to action for the audience to say, hey, make a video and comment down below, or tag us in a video or something. What would you say, right? That's I'm trying to think, because this will be a short. Don't forget to remix this short and let us know your answer. Something else. You can say whatever you want, but like something for them to make a video as well. That would be kind of cool. Yep. Yeah. They can like shorts and reels have a remix option, so you can just take your video and make your own video on top of it. Yeah. I love social media, but I've always wanted to do that for our channel. Remixing is supposed to be a really good way to sort of interact with different channels, but that's a time thing. I'm really curious about this answer. Yeah, go ahead. Wonderful. Yeah, whichever one you want to do. I'm surprised you said Death Stranding. You didn't say any. I thought you'd at least say one Final Fantasy. That makes sense. I get it now. Makes sense. Perfect. No, no. I mean, no matter what, I can splice it down to under 60, so we're good. None for me because you've done them, so we're all good. But I mean, my quick. No. I mean, because we only do two. Because we do the way I've scheduled out, and you can let me know what you think. Right? Is we do like these 4 videos. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, short Sunday, short Monday, and then one Tuesday is the dedicated day for like a long, higher quality video, one that I make, one that you make, or if Antoine becomes unemployed, then one that Antoine makes, but not gonna he doesn't become unemployed. Yeah. And not to mention he lives in Canada and he lives in a Canadian state that has a high tax rate as well. So yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I would even say Counter-Strike, Dota, all those sort of like huge multiplayer games that I don't think it's like different generations have started to sort of go crazy about that stuff now. Exactly. Exactly. All right, middle-aged gamers, thank you very much for tuning in and for supporting us across all our channels. Hope you enjoyed today's video. A quick reminder again, stay tuned for next week, Friday morning Taiwanese time. So your Thursday evenings, when you get off work, launch YouTube on your phone and listen to the background while you're relaxing and listen to what's happening in the gaming world next week. We'll see you then.